Hello and welcome to Grand Prix Xi'an coverage for the MSEM format. Today we're watching the round 4 match between Cajun on red-white cat tax and Edward on mono-black Villainy. So I think of note here is that Cajun has an incredibly fast clock and has ways to deal with Edward's win cons. However, Villainy is very problematic versus Cajun, and Cajun has in the past like the Ozin is one of the ways that he has to deal with Villainy. But Cajun versus Just Nobody did concede very early, um, even like before sideboarding, because they felt very dissatisfied playing against Villainy. So there could be like a mental game type thing going on where if Edward does manage to get like a reasonably like manages to keep Villainy on the board for more than a turn, it could do damage to Cajun's mental game over here. So dropping a Performer of Ambition into Duress. This Performer of Ambition is nowhere close to flipping, but what is good about it is that it puts pressure on Ozin, because now Ozin has to -1 again, and then at that point, if Edward has another threat in hand next turn, Ozin can't do much. So that's actually might be a reason to grab. Actually, you can't grab both Rogs and Volar Charm, and both Siguratam and Seto-san are very strong. Just Cajun's hand in general here is like very explosive. Like he just has threat upon threat that I don't think Edward can profitably answer. Yeah, I wish we had some hand information on what Edward had there. I think he was really hoping to stick that Villainy because game 1 main board, I think Cajun's only answer to a resolved Villainy is Ozin. Let's check this out. Yeah, that's his only way of dealing with a resolved Villainy. So that was like a really good keep from Cajun. And Cajun's now got 4 mana. But we've seen their hand, so we know they're probably... Oh, what is this? Okay, yeah, Rogar's Frenzy on the Performer. This way they're free to +1 Ozin to keep it out of like a dangerous range. The problem right now with and Performer of Desire, they must have top decked that. That's really good for Cajun. Because then Cajun next turn. Wait, pink? I thought Cajun +1 Ozin already this turn. Did I miss something? Oh no. Never mind. I was talking about a hypothetical scenario. Anyways, but this is really dangerous for Edward because okay, he can have hand attack. He can take. He's gonna take Siguratam here, but Cajun still has both reach and another threat, and Performer if it gets to flip. Let me look at the list here. I think Exit or Memento Mori. So that's 5 ways to deal with it main deck, which isn't bad, but also is like you don't want it to happen. Oh, these stolen secrets are machine gunning Cajun. If Performer had been allowed to stay on the battlefield, it would have flipped right here and would have been a 9-9, or actually it would have been a 10. Each player would have discarded, so it actually would have been an 11-11. Not the kind of threat you want to see resolved. Both of the Performers are incredibly explosive as win cons. Okay, so Edward notably has Exit mana up, but only Exit mana up. So the thing that Cajun has here is actually he doesn't have the mana. I think Cajun might want to, while conventional wisdom would say flip the Performer here just because of how impactful it is, I think Cajun might want to. Oh no, Seto-san must have been a top deck Seto-san. Oh no, they're flipping Pyrus. But yeah, I guess Edward only has one exit in the deck, so I guess they thought just go explosive. Don't worry about um any potential exit. Yeah, because they could have kept up tie champ, but if Pyrus resolves here, Edward is basically dead. -4. No, Edward, you're taking 8, buddy. Oh no, did Edward already take 4 before? Oh yeah, they did. And end of turn Fateful Journey. What are you gonna? I guess they're gonna Fateful Journey for Exint probably, or Memento Mori. I think probably Exint because they might have stuff they want to do on their turn. But Ozin now just locks out anything from happening here, and does well-seasoned Pyromancer doesn't have any way to deal with the Walker's main really. That's what the sideboard Just Business and Lost Memories are for, I'm assuming. And Just Business probably won't even do much versus the deck because of how much Walker spam it can do. Okay, grabbing Exint, going down to 6. So Exint will kill Pyrus, but then next turn Cajun can. We know that. Okay, I guess Edward might have hand attack as well, potentially. Nope, just gonna Exit, and then 2 cards in hand. If one of them is hand attack, he can put Cajun on a slowish clock. Oh no, just gonna tap out for Performer. So Cajun will be forced to O-ring the Performer, and then do whatever he has in hand. I guess unless he draws. I think if he draws Rogs, he. No, yeah, actually, if he draws Rogs or like Feller Charm, he's won here because then he just O-rings Performer, and then play Tie Champ, and then play Rogs. Oh, okay. So I guess Cajun must have lethal here because I don't think he would let Performer stay. Like, okay, attacking with Tie Champ. What could it be though? Is this a punt? No. Okay, he just has lethal. Could have O-ringed it, but and that game 1 goes to Cajun. So let's look at sideboarding over here. So Edward will probably want to bring in Lost Memories and Just Business because of how strong they are against Cajun's deck. Antithesis can turn off Psygtam for a turn, and what else can? Oh, oops! I have the other deck list open right here. What am I doing? Let's see. Can kill. Actually, not much else. I thought there would be more targets. Exit for sure wants to bring it in. Sorcerer Spyglass for the Walkers. So probably Lost Memories, Just Business, Exit, Sorcerer Spyglass. Out for maybe some of your, because I think I don't know actually. I think Honorless Offering, maybe Wave of DK probably wants to stay in. A Dark Bargain might want to come out. Chigao. I think the Chigao and Warden of the Dead engine might be too cute. I'm not certain. It depends on like how WSP wants to play this. Like they can go full on Villainy control, or they might try to like be more mid range. I don't know. Like they have a sideboard full of options, but they might just decide that their main board options are good enough. On Cajun's side, Farmer's Repos is coming in. We know that Cajun hates Villainy. Guiding Light for Villainy triggers to face maybe, but I doubt it. Priestess of Simplicity, I don't think does no work in that matchup. Sigil of Radiance. What does Sigil of Radiance protect against? Diabolic Designs, but not much else. Chigao. I could see maybe some Sigil coming in. But yeah, definitely definitely the Farmer's Repos, maybe some number of Sigil is my thought on the sideboarding. So they're both keeping their initial hands. Going turn 1 hand attack? No, okay. So either they're holding up exit mana for what? For Headwind Glider? Doesn't seem like the smartest. Or they don't have anything on one. If they don't have anything on one, that probably means that they have some edicts on two, and I'm assuming Warden and Shigao, maybe a Villainy. They have a beefy hand. Okay, so they definitely have Diabolic Designs or Memento Mori. They would not pass otherwise. And Cajun is probably fine not playing any creatures right now. Or no, okay, going to just play Seeker of the Way. And this is Exent? Okay, End-Step Exent. If they have something else, I don't know how much I agree with Exent. Like, I think... But I guess because Edward does have such a high creature count, maybe? Or did Edward side out the creatures? I don't know. Tapping 3 for Villainy itself? No, Performer of Ambition. And that's probably why they played Exent right there, because they had their own creature that they didn't want to have to worry about. So now Cajun, ideally for him, would want to go Ozin here probably. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that like Cat Tax is like an aggro deck that plans to have good top decks, but not just in the form of like actual threats. But against like opponents' threats, it doesn't have. Yeah, okay, it has Rogs though, Rogs and Feller Charm. I guess Cajun was thinking about Ozin into O-Ring, but then that dies to Villainy and then another spell next turn and puts you really behind. Tapping 4 for Warden. And Warden is really good because it blocks everything that Cajun has profitably. It doesn't die to burn. Yeah. What does Cajun have that beats this? Like Headwind Glider goes above, I guess. Performer goes above. Taicham dies even with first strike. Ozin can beat it. Saigtam just gets eaten by it. Seto-san can chump it and then just keep gaining life. So I guess you'd want Seto-san and or Performer of Desire right here probably. Performer of Desire would probably be less favored because he might have removal. Yeah, and Cajun saying my one weakness, an X4. Yeah, it's like creatures are kind of like being pushed out in this format by the efficiency of removal. But the thing is, Warden is something that you actively want to die, and also dodges. Like it's something that you're fine with dying most of the time, and actively dodges lots of the dangerous, like the removal. It dodges removal in the matchups where you don't want it to die. And Cajun not playing anything. What does Cajun have at instant speed? Rog's Frenzy, Feller Charm, and Farmer's Repose. They also have they have Rog's Frenzy and Grave. So that they're probably holding up Rogs and holding up. Okay, so two more lands, Feller Charm, Saigtam. Well, that's not what you want to see. That's not what you want to see at all. I guess Cajun is running 23 lands, but man. Oh, and jeez. Okay. Onless Offering for 2. Yeah, Cajun's options in this case are kind of, I guess, yeah, they're pretty limited. I guess what he wants to do here is end step Rogs, and then, oh no! So I guess Edward should probably name, whatever Edward names, Cajun just basically has to play out. And Edward, okay, so I guess in response, Cajun just casts Taicham? Or is that not possible? If Cajun could have casted Taicham there, I feel like Cajun should have cast Taicham. But I guess he still has the Rog's Frenzy tokens as a play. I don't think, unless Cajun has a good reach here, I don't think he wants to attack with the tokens because Edward has double the clock on him. I guess could attack with one, but then you run the risk of like, I was about to say run the risk of like getting pinged or something, but that only happens if Edward has Villainy, and if Edward had Villainy, it would definitely have played it last turn. Okay, 2 mana for so Cajun did bring in Guiding Light for the Villainy. Unfortunately, Edward's deck has a different angle of attack, which is, I think, as an aside, that's what makes Edward's deck so different, and I think a little bit more resilient than traditional Villainy decks, because most Villainy decks are just like hard control with Villainy as a finisher that turns all of your card advantage, removal, etc. into just shock to the face, shock to the face, shock to the face. But you can also just get shut off by like Mercantile Accords on 3, Guiding Light on 5, and a bunch of other stuff like that. So Edward's deck having like strong creature win cons makes it like less necessary to play like a hard control game. It's more of like, I'll take out what are your most essential pieces, and then have like a sort of like mid-rangey kind of game plan. So yeah, tapping a 3, that looks like a Villainy. And no, okay, it's Performer of Ambition. I was actually wrong.
Is this game 1 or game 2?
This is game 2. Cajun won game 1.
Do we know what they did with the sideboards?
We don't know exactly what happened with the sideboards. We know Cajun brought in Guiding Light. Other than that, I don't think we know for sure. And Matt asks, thoughts on Unforget. Sorry, I didn't see this until now. Thoughts on Unforget instead of Faithful Journey. Is this in general? Unforget. Search your library for card, reveal it, then shuffle the library and put. I think really, no, Unforget is not worth it, because for Faithful Journey, you want to go turn 2 Faithful Journey to turn 3 Villainy. Unforget does not give you the option for that curve. Also, having the cheaper your cards are, the more effective they are with Villainy. Like, let's say you like Faithful Journey, and then you have like Dark Bargain, so you Faithful Journey for something, then Dark Bargain, and then cast whatever you tutored for.
At 3 mana, it's much harder to change. Alright, Headwind Glider is a card.
Yeah, but like, it's a kind of card you really don't want to be seeing. Like, Cajun like has built his deck to have good top decks, in the sense of like have so many impactful hitters, like Performer. Like, top decking Performer of Ambition here would be actually the nut.
Oh,
because I think Cajun has one. If I remember his hand correctly, he has 1 line in hand. Yeah, he has 1 line in hand. So top decking Performer of Desire, not Ambition, sorry, Performer of Desire here would just be the nut. Because he has two ways to stymie removal.
Here?
But I think what are you gonna get? What is Cajun gonna name with the? Or sorry, not Cajun. What is Edward gonna name with the Spyglass? Ozin. Yeah, because I guess Ozin just O-ringing stuff is not a fun time. And Cajun doesn't have a way to deal with Sorcerer Spyglass other than Guiding Light. Not Guiding Light, sorry. Other than Farmer's Repos, which I suspect if Cajun draws it, we'll want to save that for a Villainy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Cajun is taking the 4.
Oh, I was expecting Cajun to crack next game through. Just leave the 4.
I think Cajun is holding out to draw. He wants to have 6 lands so that if he draws into Perform of Desire, he can immediately flip it. Is what I think it is. What do you got, buddy? Tapping 4 for Seto-san. That's the only thing it can be. And yep, it's Seto-san.
It put that on the Headwind Glider, yeah.
Oh, he's -2ing as well. Okay.
Yeah, the Headwind Glider.
So now the Headwind Glider is now swinging for 8 in the air.
Ooh.
Wait, this just swung the game immensely in Cajun's favor. 6? No, that's 8, buddy. That's 3 +1/+1 count. Oh no, actually it is 6. Never mind. I forgot Headwind Glider is a 0/1.
Yes. Ooh.
Okay, so this basically Edward is in an answer. He has to answer Headwind Glider or Seto-san or immediately die. Oh, well.
Yeah.
That answers Seto-san. But it does leave Edward on.
Likes...
It does leave Edward on like what do you call it?
Rough. Yeah, he still only has 1 in hand.
Yeah, and he's in a 3-turn clock. Not. Oh, okay. So now he's going to backstage rooms.
Crack that, yeah. Let's see some nonsense.
And these forgotten steps are really hurting Cajun here, honestly.
I mean, it's like the best one he could have. Like a tan.
Tapping for 2, cracking the clue. If he draws the performer, it's really going to be a heartbreaker, honestly. So, 2 cards in hand. What do you got? Oh, that's a land. If he has, I guess what he's worried about is if he has performer. The question is, do I play it or do I wait? Because I think playing it could leave it susceptible to removal. Not like I guess Edward doesn't have very many like point and click removal, but he does have lost memories from the sideboard. He does have play Villainy and to do something to kill it. But leaving it in his hand makes him vulnerable to hand attack, like specifically Stolen Secrets.
Yeah, I guess he could be. If he draws Farmer's Repose, that is game. Also, this elemental here, just being here, is so good for him. Saving it from Memento Mori's.
And Edward, I guess, just drew another swamp. Edward's streak of top decking lands here, like, because Edward's in a commanding position. He's just on a 2-turn clock now, and he needs to draw something fast. Yeah, and Cajun's like, I will take the damage gladly, because
and he burns, so that's what. So he still has champions, tan.
So what does Cajun have in hand here? Let's see. If it's another land, this is going to be such a heartbreaker. But I guess it's not as bad because both players are just top decking terribly. But it's going to be like, man, lands and more lands. Oh, that doesn't bode well. That doesn't bode well really because it means he doesn't get a Saigora. He doesn't have a Taihayata champion. Oh, going to end? That means he doesn't have burn either. He doesn't have land or a burn. Doesn't mean, and he doesn't have Farmer's Repose. Otherwise, he would have destroyed the Spyglass. So I guess he might have another copy of Guiding Light. That's all I can think of. Like I don't know what his hand could be. Or did he miss some line? I don't know. Or no, actually, he could have Ozin. It could be like double Ozin or like Ozin Guiding Light or something like that.
Yeah, I think at this point, over a third of his list is just an automatic win. Over half is Scorch, Charm, Frenzy,
should I take this?
Tam.
Oh my god, this is such a hard choice because if my god,
he doesn't have burn.
Who Edward?
Yeah,
Edward has burn in the form of Villainy.
Yeah, but he has Guiding Light.
Oh no, Memento. Oh no, Fateful Journey.
What?
For what, buddy?
Bro, buddy, what are you doing here?
Okay, Fateful Journey. Does he have card draw?
Oh no, he just.
Oh, he's going out on his own terms. That's how a true villain does it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good games, and Cajun does it, making. You know what? Last time we saw him playing against a Villainy deck, he had the bad fields, conceded early in game 1. Here we see him making the convincing 2-0, sideboarding well, Despite adversity against sideboard pieces, he still closes it out. And with a 3-1 finish, he's making the cut to top 5.
Oh, that was quite a spicy game.
Yeah, that really came down to the wire right there.
Yeah.
I wonder what, like with that attack, I wonder what Edward was hoping Cajun would do. Because at that point they had to know they were dead, right? Anyways, hi Edward. So I guess first question I had, I actually just asked Kevin with this, is what were you hoping Cajun was going to do at the very end there when you attacked with Warden?
I was screwed either way. I just decided to swing to see if I could get last damage in as kind of a last hurrah. There really wasn't anything I could do. I had a bricked Memento Mori that I could kill my own stuff with, and I had a card that put something on top of my library for the next turn.
Oh yeah, Memento.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Memento Mori being target player really does put a damper on it versus Guiding Light.
Yeah. It's even more unfortunate considering I don't think I saw. Well, I had 2 Sorcerer Spyglasses in my hand at once, but I wanted to play them one at a time in hopes of being able to see the last card. I realize that's a mistake now, but I was hoping that he would try and hold on to something so I could get a little bit more information out, but he just played out a walker that I couldn't deal with. So, realistically, I think the main weakness that my deck had was Guiding Light. It shut off so many of my cards that I just couldn't fight through it.
Yeah, like I think like when I was evaluating Guiding Light for sideboarding, I kind of like I was looking at like maybe I'll tie it in because of Villainy, but then I forgot like how many of your cards actually target. Like,
like I said in the game chat, I think half my deck targets because I have 3 to 4 Duresses at any given time. I'll either be running up to 3 Exunts, 3 Just Businesses.
I think Exent doesn't target. Exent is each player, so it wouldn't be affected.
Oh, well. Still, 4 Memento Moris. I have, what's it called? The Unmaskers, Honorless Offerings, Stolen Secrets. Villainy is probably the biggest one.
Yeah, I guess what you really needed to hit there was like a Lost Memories. No, but even that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, that or
like Lost Memories would have been.
No, that would have given me an extra turn because I could have killed off the elemental, and gained some life. I believe because it's choose 2.
Oh yeah,
but realistically, the only thing that would have saved me there was realistically was Wave of Decay.
Oh yeah.
Because I could have gained a bunch of life, killed off all of his creatures. But yeah. I'm really disappointed as well that I didn't see, because if I had seen Thiago, I could have used Memento Mori to sacrifice my own Warden and started that going.
And then you would have also lost life from that. But yeah.
I would have, but at that point, I was really just trying to find an answer.
Okay, fair.
To get Headwind off the field. So it was more important that I could find an Exunt or find another performer to try and flip it and get lifelink off that, or find a Wave of Decay. Because if I didn't find something to deal with Headwind Glider, I was just dead because I don't have any flying creatures on the deck.
That Headwind Glider was like MVP. At first I was like, man, that's not a card you want to see like in the late game at all. But then like having it be like it having flying and then just being able to Setos on it for that one like 6 power swing.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy.
Yeah. Seto-san is what really killed me in the matchup. One card that I've had in this deck from basically the start, but I'm debating whether or not I should keep it in there, is Forgotten Haunt. Because it's a good sacrifice outlet for my Wardens. But I don't think that...
I think your deck needs black so much. It's so black heavy that I think that like having anything that's like off that is really debilitating, especially because you're only on 21 lands. So, and you don't. I almost feel like you need more than Forgotten. I don't know why you aren't on Wayfarer Shrines, honestly.
Honestly, it was mostly just because I didn't know about the card when I built it, and I have consistently forgot when I was going to edit the deck to put it in there.
Okay, I was thinking maybe like something about worried about like having too many like own life loss type pingers or something. I don't know.
Honestly, I haven't found that to be an issue, generally speaking, because I do have Villainy as a 4 of in the deck, which, as long as I don't get bricked off of Guiding Light, and even if I do, because I can still target creatures, I'll gain enough life off non-creatures. And I'm not really afraid of being at 21 lands, as long as I don't keep like a 1-land hand, because I have so much draw with not just Villainy, but with the Honorless Offerings and the Dark Bargains.
Yeah, you did draw like a dummy number of lands in that second game. Both you and Cajun.
Yeah, we both got flooded, funnily enough, which shouldn't really happen, because I don't think Cajun's only running 23, but I'm only running 21, so. No. Getting flooded happens at the weirdest of times as well, so that was disappointing. Just at the end of the day, I think Guiding Light is just a death knell for this deck, because it shuts off the major win condition of Villainy. It neuters most of the hand attack, several of the sacrifice spells, and really means that I have to assemble the Warden loop, or I'm not going to be able to win the game, because I'm not going to have any sort of value engines going. I'm not going to be able to outvalue them with hand destruction. Villainy is only going at half-mast.
So I guess this is like a good place as any to ask. Do you think that Guiding Light is stunting like the ability for decks to function in the meta, or do you think it's something that rather is like it's a safety valve that requires creative deck construction? Or do you have a different view of it?
I think that Guiding Light, obviously I'm running a monocolor build, so it hurts me more than it would the average person. But I think as long as you're either going to Ish color, have a plan to deal with it out of the sideboard, or just are able to decently play around it, it's not, I don't think it's as scary as it seems at first glance. First glance, it shuts off burn, it shuts off all sorts of targeting spells, it weakens creatures in combat with its damage mention. But realistically, it still doesn't stop anything like planeswalkers. It still doesn't stop any colorless targets or colorless shut-off valves like Sorcerous Spyglass or Chains of Subdual. And most decks now tend towards more than one color, because this is a format with decent enough mana that you can usually run 2 to 3 color at a fairly consistent rate. So as long as you have a plan to deal with it, it's not scary. It's mostly scary for my deck because I don't have a plan, which is more of a fault for my deck construction than any sort of fault for the card itself.
But I was going to say that I think like your deck is better equipped to deal with it than previous MonoBlack Villainy builds because of stuff like the Warden package and the creature stuff. So like, you want to talk about like what first made you think of like putting that package in there?
I saw someone talking about it on Discord, and I thought it looked cool.
Fair enough.
And that is why I built a deck around it that I've been running since I got here. But realistically, I just like how well it interacts. It's very hard to shut off outside of just straight up graveyard hate, because instant speed sacrifice means that even exile spells I can usually work around just by dropping the Exunt in response and killing my own Wardens. And it provides a hell of a lot of value just existing. And it does give me a workaround for certain cards like Guiding Light. Also, with the amount of deal 3 damage, having something with 4 toughness is very nice in general.
Hey, and I imagine it must be like really good in the mirror as well, because like Villainy doesn't kill it unless you have 2 triggers, and even if it dies, you're kind of okay with it dying.
Oh, I love it when it dies. If somebody kills my Warden, I'm almost never angry unless it also involves exiling. Or
yeah, I guess the one weakness we saw is that like Warden is a slow card in terms of like in terms of it coming down, and if they have evasion or another way to win, or like a non-creature way to win the game, it can really put a damper on your day.
I mean, yeah, I've always been mildly annoyed that's one of like the few non-flying demons out there. But it makes sense because if I feel like if it did have flying, it'd be far too good.
Yeah. Yeah, having like because of how well it clogs up the board and how like just big it is, having like just being able to go around it makes it balanced. Anyways, I think
flying menace.
Menace could work, but also I don't want to live in a world where Warden has keywords. I think Cajun's suggestion of making it a horror makes a lot. Like the art is very horror-esque, like because I think those usually have like it has like that nightmarish feel to it, very Sandman almost.
It really doesn't give a demon feeling. I don't know. There's probably, like I said, there was a build of the deck, and I think I might still have one or two in there that gives. There's a single Demon Matters.
Diabolic Intent.
But realistically,
I think.
Diabolic Designs.
Oh, designs. Yeah. Okay.
But unfortunately, I don't believe that with the way the card is worded, I can sacrifice my Warden and then return it to my hand as a kind of a second Shago, which sucks, but it's how it is.
Anyways, going over to Cajun, I just want to ask Cajun because like I think this is what I was thinking the whole time is that last time you played against a Villainy deck, it was like I remember it being like a painful experience for you. So how did you did you change anything mentally or did like what did you think about before coming into this matchup?
I guess it's true that comic origins don't fly, but
okay.
Yeah, very much. I'm far from being good with this deck. Both of the games I definitely had a chance, and then I just kind of uttered out.
Yeah, they were definitely like back.
At least in the first game, the second game I felt really good right up until Headwind Glider got a +1/+1 counter placed on it.
Yeah, like that was definitely your game until that point.
Yeah. Especially having both the spyglasses out. I feel like if I had named Seto-san first, I would have won that game.
Yeah, fair, but also like naming Seto-san, I think naming Ozin first made a lot of sense because of Ozin being up to like O-ring stuff. So
I named Ozin first because if he came down after I named Seto-san and exiled the first spyglass, then I would have either had to play a second one to get Seto-san off, or play one to keep him from going anywhere. And even then, there was no guarantee that I'd be able to push through. And I didn't really want to focus trying to kill another Planeswalker.
Oh yeah, like speaking of top decking, when did you was there any like reasoning behind like the timing on cracking backstage rooms? Like I was wondering if you were hoping for a while to like top deck Performer of Desire, and that's why you were keeping 6 lands up. Okay, yeah.
Armor also would have probably been in the end because like all of my removal at that point targeted, or at least the ones that I had access to. So Guiding Light, shutting down Memento Mori, and Just Business hurt like hell. I do think Guiding Light is a good card because it pushes. I mean, obviously Exunt's the exception, but it does. I think Memento Mori is such a powerful card that Guiding Light being honestly kind of like a counter to it is kind of nice.
Does the other mode of Memento Mori get affected? It does. Okay, target player. So
yep. So I couldn't even exile his graveyard. Not that would have mattered.
Yeah, I was just thinking about let's say like Hunter's Hideout type decks, or like Kevin's recent like Legend Weaving build, stuff like that could probably use it to good effect.
Yeah, it's a very strong card, but it's also a very situational card because any deck that has more than 2 colors, you can basically shrug it off. And even decks that are only 2 colors can usually find a workaround.
It's also a card where like your opponent can like top deck an answer to it later, and then like even like bounce spells or exile spells or whatever, and then they can just storm off with burn or whatever it is that they're trying to kill you to face with.
Yeah. Guiding Light only really does stop mono red burn. Honestly, I'd say Mercantile Accords is more deadly for at least my deck in general.
For your deck? I'm
because surprised. I have so many 1-drops.
I thought your deck would be because your deck
I only have a very small number of
with it, in my opinion, because you have because normally so I definitely put it on 3 Mercantile Accords on 3 first, which shuts off Performer and Villainy, but then you still have like Warden as a win con and Unmastered technically.
The thing is though, Warden obviously it's still a very good win con. I just feel like losing out on both Villainy, who still works with Guiding Light out in terms of drawing me cards and gaining me life, and losing out on Performer of Desire or Ambition. Yeah, Performer of Ambition, I believe.
Yeah, actually, I'm just going to quickly suggest that like that I think the names might be a little bit too similar.
Whatever. The not the Phoenix one.
Yeah.
Not Bird one. Because that shuts off even more win conditions. Additionally, well, at the very least, one Guiding Light is obviously if it's 1-on-1, just one Guiding Light or one Mercantile Accords, I'd rather fight through the Mercantile Accords. But if it's more than one Mercantile Accords, because I can set it to 3 and then set it to 1 and then set it to 2.
Actually,
if they want to lock me up,
I can't do that because it stops me from playing things on 3 as well. It's a symmetric effect. So if I choose to drop it on 3 first, I wouldn't be able to play another Mercantile Accords. I just realized.
I didn't think about that. That is a very nice stopgap. At least for my deck, because 2 of my 3 win conditions are 3-drops. No. Honestly, with this deck, I think I might have to splash another color. I've been debating either splashing blue for some counter spells or splashing white for some actual sideboard tech that isn't just pray that you hit a simultaneous duress and seal the tomb.
Also, I'm going to be back in a second, but if Kevin has any questions in the meantime, I'm going to leave it to him.
None. Admittedly, none in particular.
That is fair.
I got there towards the tail end of the second game, so.
Alright, I'm just going to head off then. If there's any more questions, just at me or whatever.
Oh, oof. Did Edward leave?
Yeah, he sounded kind of tired.
Oh, okay, cool. So for Cajun, congrats on getting top 5. So in regards to that, we now know all 5 decks that are going to be in top 5. It's you, Fluffy, JN, CFT Sock, and me. So what matchups do you most want to hit, and what matchups are you most hoping to avoid going into that? So it's JN on UB Villainy, me on Obzon Enchantment Prison, Fluffy is on Black-Green Tokens, and then there's CFT Sock on Grixis, Grandma, Dragon Twin, which is a mouthful. One of JN or CFT Sock is going to get a top seed. The other one is going to be in the pool with the 4 other 3 ones. Sorry, 3 other 3 ones. UP Villainy was your 1 loss earlier in the bracket. And Dragon Twin, was that earlier? Was that an earlier version of Dragon Twin, or was this like in a different event, like skirmish, and like same versions of the deck? Or is it? Or like, sorry, what I'm asking is like, was it old Dragon Twin, or is this like the new Grixis innovation you've played against in like skirmish or something? The new one is very different. It takes like the Grixis pile that 5th Dragon was on, which uses Suzume Oshiro and Reprising Bard along with Kinken. So it can do some dirty stuff like locking you out of the game turn 3 with Reprising Bard, Kinken, and Unraveling. But it also has straight up the Dragon Twin combo as backup. I think Prowess Walkers has changed to a reasonable extent as well, in terms of like just having better cards. Well, we know it's so fluffy because they're on a go wide deck, but suspicious. Oh, and you haven't looked through the decklist docs yet, or like the decklists on the website. Do you want to go through them now, or would that be like, or is that like, or you want to just do that on your own time, some other time? Because we could like talk through each of the lists in relation to yours, so that's something you're down with doing now. Okay, cool. So let's start with CFT Sock's list. Grixis Twin, 4 Suzume Oshiro, 3 Fire Shaper Adept, 4 Reprising Bard, 3 Imperial Artisan, 3 Darkness Charm, 4 Unraveling, 4 Monkey Shines, 4 Seek Prophecy, 4 Prying Inquiry, 3 Kinken, 4 Monument to the Fallen Man. And out of sideboard, Rogar's Frenzy, Demolitionist Divisor, Chigao, June Grasp, and Negate. So I think CFT Sock is probably going to try to just like bring in like the Demolitionist Divisors and maybe Rogs. Negates for sure against like your walkers. But I think for the most part, CFT Sock is just going to try and like combo off. Because I think in a fair game, you have a chance of beating him. In an unfair game, you don't have any. I guess you have You have Farmer's Repose and Sigil of Radiance. Sigil of Radiance shuts off Unraveling locks. Farmer's Repose shuts off his like Kinken, which Kinken can like go in for like some crazy burn. And Shalden's Rage shuts off his Dragon Twin combo. So you actually, at first I didn't think you had good interaction. You have decent interaction with him if he tries to play an unfair game. In which case, it's actually kind of a puzzle if you like try to keep his unfair pieces in because of how strong they are and how they can just like punish you for tapping out turn 3, or if he's going to play a fair game where the Demolitionist Divisors, Reprising Bard with Rogs all give him like heavy burn. Yeah, I think the only thing you'd be okay with tapping out turn 3 for is Ozan, because then Ozan can grab Reprising Bard and then he can't beat you turn 3. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling to evaluate that matchup because I think like you're both evenly. I think it's like a 60-40 for like in CFT Sock's favor, probably just because of his explosive win potential. Yeah, he doesn't have like any removal whatsoever. He has Rogar's Frenzies out of the side, but that really isn't enough to stop like some of the more explosive stuff you can do. Like if you can drop Performer of Desire and flip it on the same turn once he's got his shields down, not a good look. Seto-san just I feel like kind of runs circles around him. Ozan runs circles around him. Imperial Siege. Actually, Imp Siege might be the most damaging part. He only has 1 island, 1 mountain, 1 swamp. The rest of his mana base is a desert mana base. So Imperial Siege will just kind of crush him. Has it not been like what if let me look at the bracket. What if your matchups been other than like obviously this one it hasn't done much because it's all swamps. And versus JN, I guess I don't remember the interview exactly, but no, we didn't do an interview. But JN was on like 5 basics, I think. And then you played Cyber, who was on Mantis. I guess Imperial Siege is what should have been really good versus Cyber. And then round 1, you played Pipsqueak, who I don't remember how many non-basics Pipsqueak had. Let's see. 5 basics. So it could have done some work there, but he could also fetch for basics fairly safely. Yeah, I guess you do have to draw the card to be able to use it to donk. But yeah, I think let's see, after CFT Sock, there's Fluffy's deck. So I think if you get Shaldron's Rage just nukes Fluffy's entire deck, like no lie. Like literally, unless Fluffy gets like a Daisy Heart of Chasmic out, all of Fluffy's creatures will be like 1/1s for all. I guess they have Exhausted Farmhand and Camouflage Sparios, but Camouflage Sparios you can like. Actually, Camouflage Sparios does do a number on you. I guess, yeah, you only have Ozin as a way to deal with Camouflage Sparios might just put a damper on your day. For dealing with walkers, they have One and Done in the side. Smoke's Whispers actually might be really good in this matchup. For like, they grab a Sigura Tam, because Sigura Tam with Nomadic Patriarch is an insane curve. They have Exit to stop some of your like crazier plays. Same with Path to Mortality. I do think they're unfavored, but they also like their deck is reasonably solid. And stuff like Villains the Musical gives them like life gain. Let's see. Do they have any other sources of life gain? Nope. But I think in general it's like you gotta have Shaldron's Rage, otherwise I mean if you have Shaldron's Rage, you automatically win. Otherwise it's a more even matchup. And also just don't give them a way to get Camouflage Sparios. Which like how many? They're only on 4 fetch lands. What other ways do they have to? I guess they can Path to Mortality their own stuff. But yeah, with only, I feel like even though they're like a black-green deck, they should probably have put in like a few more fetch lands of an off color just to be able to trigger, because Camouflage Spario, being able to just like search that up on demand is so strong. Yeah, they can't Smoke's Whispers themselves. Oh no, they can't Path to Mortality themselves either. So yeah, with Camouflage Sparios does a number against your deck, but unless they have a fetch land, you really don't have to worry about it. I think like everyone, including me, kind of underrated Fluffy's deck at the start, but I think looking at it now, it's actually reasonably solid. Okay, then we have JN. You played JN before, so I don't really think we need to talk about JN's deck. Then we have me. So my mana base is probably going to be the most damaging thing in this matchup because I will eat a metric ton of damage from my own mana base. If I get like, let's see, what do I want? I probably want Guiding Light turn 2 into Serene Prayer into Reflect on Serenity. Having Ozin just will kind of screw me. If I get Mercantile Accords, I don't even know what I do. Like, I guess Mercantile Accords on 3 because it shuts off Tai Champ, Ozin, and Sigura, but that also shuts off most of my deck. Or would I Tai Champ on 2 because that stops probably 2. Yeah, actually, I would Mercantile Accords on 2 because that stops Imperial Siege, it stops both of your burn pieces, it stops Headwind and Performer. That would probably be what I do. And I have Planner Eviction as removal. I think main board though you're heavily favored because you have more threats than I have answers, and I don't have a good way to lock you out of the game. I guess I had the Serene Prayer into Reflect lock, but you have a way to disrupt it in Ozin. And I can't turn off Ozin without also turning off my lock. Out of the sideboard, I have Sorcerer's Spyglass, Reconstruct, Serene Prayer, Guiding, 2 more Guiding Lights, another Planner Eviction. So I can sideboard pretty hard against you, but you also sideboard pretty hard against me with maybe 1x Sigil and then 3x Farmer's Repos. And also Priestess of Simplicity just screws me. So I think, and are those all the decks that we had to look at? Yeah, so I think the matchup you probably want to run into the most is me, just because of how much your non-basic hate can take advantage of my deck, plus how much of a fast clock you present, and also how many angles of attack you have against my deck. So, and probably least favored is, I think, JN, as we already saw, because of how strong Villainy is. Yeah, do you have any other thoughts on just this tournament in general so far? Bringing back Prowess Walkers for a 4th time, or just anything else? Just general thoughts, closing statement. Fair enough. Well, thanks for joining me for this interview, and good luck for the rest of the tournament.